Hello, everyone. My name is Rony Gao. I'm a professional conference interpreter based in Canada and specializing in interpreting between Mandarin Chinese and English. The last 2 or 3 years have seen our profession transformed in unprecedented ways. We used to work primarily in person, and now I work primarily online. In other words, remote interpreting has suddenly become the mainstream. So if you're thinking about tapping into this booming market of remote interpreting, I hope this video will give you some ideas on setting up your computer for success in the remote interpreting market. To start with, you should get into the habit of making sure you have a second computer to use all the time in case your main computer fails. Interpreting is already very stressful. So when there's a technical failure on your computer, whether it's software or hardware, the last thing you want to worry about is scratching your head, looking for another computer or borrowing someone else's. So instead, always have a backup device ready. If you don't have another computer, at least make sure you have a tablet or a phone that can be used as a backup device. Similarly, I also recommend that you prepare what I call a backup toolkit. Mine looks like this. In it, there's a USB drive, there's a backup adapter, the charger for my phone, and some pens, and so on and so forth. So anything that you might find useful when doing interpretation. I put them all in this one small bag so I can actually pack it with me when traveling. Having all of these backups in one place will give you the peace of mind that you always have something to fall back on if you need. This next piece may be common sense to many interpreters already, but in case no one has told you before, I urge you to equip yourself with a USB connected external microphone. It is absolutely essential if you want to interpret online meetings. Let me show you the difference that it makes. Right now, I am speaking to you through the built-in microphone on my laptop. This is actually how most people sound when they speak in online meetings. However, for a professional level interpreting service to be delivered remotely, this is simply not good enough. Instead, you should sound like this. Now, I have switched back to my Sennheiser headset. You have several other options here. Either you can use a headset like the Sennheiser PC8 that I'm using, or if you don't want to have something around your head to mess up your hair, for example, you can use one of these tabletop gooseneck mics, or with a bigger budget, you could also go for one of these studio quality microphones, which usually gives a richer sound. But frankly, any one of these three should be enough to do the job. Other than audio, internet connection is also extremely important. Believe it or not, bad internet connection is the #1 reason for bad experience with online meetings. My recommendation here is to plug an Ethernet cable into your computer, and here's why. I know many of you are thinking, my Wi-Fi at home is pretty good. I never have problems when I watch Netflix, for example. Why do I need an Ethernet cable? Well, the truth is that in online meetings, the overall quality of your connection doesn't only depend on the internet speed alone, upload speed, download speed. So those are important, but those are just part of the story. It also depends on how reliable or stable your internet connection is. As good as Wi-Fi is, it's not always reliable and stable, because you'll have milliseconds where the connection breaks up When that happens, the result is that your audio in the online meeting will break up for milliseconds here and there. And during an online meeting, you don't want that to happen to your audio. And to address this problem, the Ethernet cable is still a very reliable solution. A lot of us have laptops that don't even come with an Ethernet port anymore. So you may want to also get an adapter like this one that is on the right side of my screen so that the Ethernet cable can be plugged into your laptop. I'll tell you, it's going to make a difference. My fifth and final piece of advice is to prepare a customized virtual background. For example, I made this for myself, indicating in both English and Chinese that my role is the interpreter. And whenever I turn on my webcam, I show up like this. A plain color background is usually good enough. And by the way, platforms like Zoom will also allow you to rename yourself inside a meeting. Well, if the host gives you that permission. And it's also a good practice to always rename yourself in a meeting and indicate that your role is the interpreter. Again, it's a small thing to do, but it'll help you project a more professional image of yourself. And that concludes my presentation today. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions or comments or ideas to share about this topic, please get in touch with me. I'll be very happy to connect with you. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of this conference.